I want to welcome you to Williams Island TV. I'm Bob Shelley, president of the POA. And before you get to hear from some of our fabulous directors, we want to give you an update on where we are with things on the island. As you know, there's so much going on. One of the things I do want to say is Williams Island Marina has been sold to another company. It really has no effect on the island at all. It was a business transaction that we had nothing whatsoever to do with. But I know a notice was sent out. A lot of questions were asked about it, but very honestly, it doesn't affect the island one way or the other. And I just wanted to bring that up to you. Jeff Klein is with me now, and we're going to talk a little, very briefly. And I know, Jeff, that you love to talk, but unfortunately, we only have a couple minutes left. But there are so many exciting things going on. We do want you to tune in. Our board meeting is next Thursday night. And it's very important because you're going to get a very detailed update on what's going on with the construction and the Island Club, et cetera. But Jeff, just give us a brief update on all the wonderful things that we are having done already. There's some of the things that are done.
Yeah, so we've had an exciting summer. While a lot of the residents and members have been on the island all summer, some have actually gone up north, gone west, and they've come back to a really exciting place. The Island Club project is deep into demolition, almost completed, which is amazing. If you were to walk onto the island today, you would not recognize the place. It's been ripped to stem and stern, and a lot of work has been done. And, you know, like any project, we found a few things that we didn't anticipate because that building is old and it's gone through many iterations of renovations. But RCC and Stice and all of the contractors that are working on that project are doing a spectacular job. But I know you'll hear from John Fells at the board meeting to give a little more detail on that project, as well as Stice will give an update. Great. I think we're even going to share some photos of what the place looks like because it's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Most important and exciting, the deli, which we all know is the deli, has a new name. It's called Courtside. Mm-hmm. And Courtside is a venue that has an unbelievable feel. It's coffee, it's a marketplace, a gelateria, sandwiches, salads, and you heard me talk about this project when I first got here, and we're excited. We're nearly finished. It's operating.
But the gelato's available.
Oh, gelato's available, and I got to tell you, it's I know Carrie's got to be very busy because everybody's eating gelato and sorbet. We have 16 different flavors between sorbets, yogurts, and gelatos. Thaddeus and the team are rolling out new sandwich salad menus, acai bowls, smoothie juices. It's really become main and main, and Courtside patio have really become just the place to hang out and the place to spend time and socialize with all of the residents.
Wait, it's funny to say that because the other day I walked in and there's somebody on the computer sitting there with his coffee. It's almost like a Starbucks cafe. It's
it's like Starbucks meets Carrot Express, Pura Vida, Graziano's Market. For us, it's about the resident experience and constantly giving more and providing better quality service. And Thaddeus and the team and Arlene and the marketing and communication support have really taken this venue to really, really nice levels. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll be wrapped up with some of the millwork and final touches in that venue, and we'll just get to enjoy it and keep making it better each day. So we're super excited about it.
So the main thing is, please watch the September 28th, I believe.
It is September 28th.
A lot of this will be brought out in detail and a lot, but we just wanted to give you an update of what is going on. I want to thank you because you're amazing what you've accomplished. Can you believe it's 18 months already?
Yeah, it's 18 months, but, I know the beauty is, and this segment's been awesome because I know you've been getting to spend some time with a lot of the directors, and I've been fortunate enough to sit in and listen, and it's been interesting and fun for me because I get to hear stories about some of these directors that I didn't know, and I get to hear a little bit about their past and their histories, and sometimes it puts a different lens on how you approach how you lead somebody when you know a lot more about them that wasn't exposed on. It wasn't exposed until I was eavesdropping on the segment.
That's okay.
But I think it's awesome. And I know there's a segment coming up where interview and interviewee get role reversed. So I don't know who's going to be interviewed, but I know who's going to lead the interview. We just haven't figured out who the person we're going to interview is. But Stay tuned because there's a lot of fun stuff coming this way on Williams Island TV.
But you're going to listen to one of the people we're going to be having on today is Debra.
That's right.
And Debra is always dressed to the nines, always dressed beautifully. She's always right there on target.
That's her Monday through Friday,
Right.
Bob.
But on Saturday and Sunday, she puts on her leather and she gets on her Harley with her husband and they ride. And it is amazing. So you think you know somebody the way they are, and then all of a sudden on Saturday morning, you see somebody pull up in a Harley. But that's the kind of thing that's fun about all this.
One of the first times I ever learned that about Deb was on a random Saturday. We were talking and I heard a Harley like rev up in the background. And I said, "Oh, where are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm on my Harley with my husband."
Yeah.
Kurt and I are going for a ride. And I said, "Well, let's talk more on Monday."
And the amazing thing is, when they're riding, she'll zoom past Kurt.
That's right. She really loves it.
She does.
It's cool. But it's good to get to hear about all these people.
But anyway, stay tuned. Please attend the meeting on the 28th. Jeff, thank you.
Pleasure.
And come and have some gelato because it is really excellent. I just started and I'm going to the gym after this.
There you go.
Anyway, have a wonderful day and welcome. Today we have a very interesting day. You've heard all the announcements. You've heard all the updates. And I thank Jeff for being with us on that to give us a brief update. As you know, we are in the midst of demolition. We're in the midst of opening our gelato, as we talked about. But as we started a couple of weeks ago, and we've been continuing, it's time we meet all of our wonderful people that work here for us. And the amazing team we put together, or not we put together, but how here. They've gone through many management changes. They've gone through storms. They've gone through pandemic, and yet we haven't missed a beat. And today we're going to meet three of those teammates. We're going to meet Noel, who heads up our security. We're going to meet Carlos, who heads up tennis. And we're going to meet Debra Laveau, who heads up our HR. So let me introduce you to Noel. Noel, you've been with us quite a while now.
Yes, sir.
And with Noel, just before we started taping today, we were talking about hairdressers and where we both go for our hair color, because, it's a tough hairdo to come up with. Where do you go, Noel?
Where do I go?
Yeah. I'm only joking. Anyway, tell us, the people really don't know anything about who works here. They see them, they come and go, they know if there's a problem, they'll call you for security. But getting into the security industry is a whole other world. You've been here a long time.
Yeah.
But growing up, did you ever think you'd be doing this? And how did it all come about?
Well, growing up, I didn't think I'll be doing security all my life, to be honest, because I really wanted to be electrical engineer.
Interesting.
So, I got kicked out of my house, so I had to make ends meet.
Okay, so wait, let's go back to that. You got kicked out. How old were you?
19.
And anything particularly got thrown out for?
Well, some little mishap with my parents. So,
Okay, nothing personal.
I didn't think it was like anything for me to be kicked out. It happened.
But you were out on your own at 19 then?
Yes.
Wow.
On my own.
And where was this? Where'd you live?
Well, I live in North Miami.
Oh, so you've been down here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All my life.
Wow.
Yep.
Not many people can say that.
Yeah. I've been down here.
Interesting.
So, I was kicked out of my house, so I had to get, an apartment. I had my car payment. I started working here. I got a job here at 20. When I was 20 years old. Yes. So I started working here. I just continued working overtime just to make ends meet.
In security?
In security, yes. At the first guard gate, the very first guard gate, when the Trumps used to run.
So who was the head of security at that time?
Bob Weiss.
Okay.
Bob Weiss. Well, he hired me and he lasted a year after he was gone. Right? So, working overtime, just to make ends meet. My girlfriend at the time, which is my wife now, we, didn't have anything at all, right? So we had only TV and a comforter. I slept on the floor for at least 2 months.
Wow.
Yes. I couldn't find money to put gas in my car.
Right, while you were working it.
While I was working here, yes, but nobody knows because I just keep it to myself, and I just struggle it out, and ask my coworkers, "Hey, you have a quarter?" Just to put back then it was like 50 cents per gallon. Gas in your car. So I asked them for a quarter here. They don't know why I'm asking, but I pay them back when I get paid. You know what I mean? Just put gas in my car, and so I basically just move through the ranks, and I just keep going further, my career. I decided to just make security my career. I liked it. I like what I see. I like the dynamic. I like everything about Williams Island, actually. And Williams Island wasn't the first place I started security. I worked at another place before.
Oh,
We're like SBI Security. They manage FBNL, the FBNL building down in Flagler Street. So, and I used to bring in the helicopters and all that stuff for the executives. Yes. So I worked there for a year and a half before I started working there. Yeah.
so you've been here a long time. You've seen a lot.
Since 96.
Amazing.
I've seen a lot. Yes.
And you've seen a lot. So did you ever think when you started you were going to be the head of this whole place?
No, because I was very shy. And basically I was pretty much scared to be, because moving up, I see how, what kind of pressure it is to be a leader, right? It's a lot of pressure, and you have to know what you're doing, how to handle situations and because I have a big staff, and I have to handle my staff. You got to,
Let me interrupt. I don't think people realize how many people you do have.
Yeah.
How many is it?
it's about 115, 118.
A lot of people.
Yes.
So you're really managing people more than you're managing a job then.
Yes. And you have all these different personalities you have to deal with.
Uh-huh.
So you have to learn who's working for you, learn their pet peeves, what they desire, what make them tick, what makes them comfortable, stuff like that. So you have to just learn who works for you and manage them properly.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if everyone realizes that you oversee security for all the buildings as well.
Also, yes.
So you're not only dealing with personalities of your staff, you have building personalities.
We have
You have president personality, you have POA rep personalities, you have building manager personalities.
Yes. Yes.
I would imagine that's probably a bigger challenge.
Yes, it is. It is. So you have different buildings, they want officers to be changed out. And so it's up to the security director to put someone that's fit in that position, So they have these different, they have a lot of different complaints, like simple complaints, that we could work with the officers and fix the issues. So, so instead of me replacing a lot of the officers, I train them. I do a lot of training with the staff. I trained each building. I go around and I trained all the officers, right? I 4,000 on Wednesday, 1,000 on Thursday. You know what I mean? So I train them individually.
Now, do they come to you with the individual problems of each building when you're dealing with this?
Yes. Yes.
You have a very amazing personality. You're very low key, you're very laid back, but yet you're very strong and stern at the same time. It's almost like a velvet steamroller.
Right.
But where'd that come from? Because getting thrown out at 19, being broke, being poor, that's not normal.
Right.
That you come out of it and you're so mellow and such a gentleman. And I mean that with the highest compliment.
Right. I mean, I would say, working with different directors, right? And I study who I work for.
Interesting.
Yes.
So explain that. I'd like to know more about it. How do you study directors?
Well,
and when you say directors of the buildings, directors of the POA?
Well, my security directors, that's what I work for.
Okay, got it.
And I study other people also, but mainly who I work for, right? My bosses. And I study how they react to certain situations. And some react differently to certain situations, and some react, how they supposed to. So some react really bad, right, with certain situations. And I vow, if I ever to lead a team, I will never react that way. So I could differentiate, how I'm going to react with certain situations. The main thing, you have to keep calm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. Never you react out of anger.
So you listen before you speak.
Yes, you always have to listen. Listen to who's working for you, right? Take comments. I always invite them. If you have any issues, say it to me, please. That's the only way things could be fixed.
What's the biggest challenge you have running security on an island? We have 5,000, 6,000 people here.
Right.
How much traffic do we do a day going through? How many cars go through these things?
Through the rest gate, over 3,000 cars a day.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yeah. So
People don't have a clue what kind of volume we do here.
yes. So
That is it. So what are your biggest challenges?
well, in what way?
In security on the island, dealing with the buildings, dealing with the people. I mean, you have emergencies, you have things people never even hear about.
Right. So, I mean, we have like in the past, not in the past, we have people, like we have a resident used to do, like, live in I'm not going to say the building, live in a certain building. So he used to do drugs, invite his friends on the island, and they hang out by the tennis court and they do their transactions. Well, it gets bad at that point.
Yeah.
It gets really bad. So guns were drawn, the police was involved and stuff like that. So we have to know, like, these different places where you feel like the residents or kids will hang out and do, bad things. So we have to, like, think about where these places are and do more patrols and have more security, keep an eye on those. If we see a lot of group of kids congregating, we're trying to disperse that a little bit. Because, if you leave it that way, then you'll see where it's going to cause a problem. Because, kids get, bored and they start doing things they're not supposed to, stuff like that. So,
in terms of the team that you work with, because you have all kinds, you have all the directors.
Right.
It seems that it's a very close-knit group of people. So it's like a family, isn't it?
Yes. And that's why I preach teamwork.
Yeah.
I preach to all my team, teamwork. If we can't work as a team, it will not work. Even the billing managers, I went around to all the billing managers and I speak with them. I says, listen, I need help. I need your help. And you need my help also. So we have to work as a team. You can't do one thing and I do one thing. We need to work together. If you have an issue, you let us know and we'll work, towards it, to make it better together. So we have to work as a team always. And that's what I preach to all my staff.
It's interesting because when we lost our last director,
right,
and he left to move up north,
right,
you didn't want the job.
No.
That we hired somebody else at that time and things didn't work out well, but you were ready to, you had your other business or other things you had interest in, and you didn't want to be the director here.
Right.
What changed your mind?
Well, I figured I was doing it anyways. While he was here, I was basically doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I figured, all the staff was coming to me for all the issues, right? I was handling it. I was doing payroll. I was doing ordering stuff. I was taking care of situations. I was doing everything. So one day, I went to bed and I says, well, hey, I'm doing all this stuff. Why not? The staff loves me. I hope.
Some of them do.
So they love me. That's what they're telling me, and their attitude shows it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're very helpful. So yeah.
So you woke up and said, "Why not? You're doing it anyhow.
Why not? And I love Williams Island, and I tell my staff all the time, I love this place.
What is so much about? Tell me.
The people. I love the people. I love the residents. I love the staff. And I love my manager. I just love Williams. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
Even Jeff?
Even Jeff. Even Jeff. Actually, I love Jeff,
Wow.
to be honest. And I'm not saying it because, he's here. I love Jeff because Jeff helped me with certain situations, and I really appreciate that.
So you had his support.
Yes. He really supported me.
Now, that hasn't always been the case, has it? In the past?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I remember you and I have had many, many chats over the years. Yeah, we go back a long time together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we got through it, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
But if you had it to do over again, would you choose this path?
To be honest, yes. I would.
That's great.
I would.
Is it wonderful to go to work every day enjoying what you do?
Yes. When I wake up in the morning, I say, what a wonderful day.
It is. You come to work every single day, you're helping people.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful opportunity.
Yes.
Not many people can say that.
And the thing about it is, I love people. I love to meet people. I love to deal with people. I cannot stay home and just do nothing.
Yeah.
I love to leave my house, come to work, and meet people.
Well, I can't tell you what a great job you do because you're already here, you're doing it, and
I appreciate it.
And you and I have we've always had a special relationship. In fact, I got to meet his wife sitting next to her at dinner one night.
Yeah.
By accident.
Yep.
But I want to thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you for what you do for us. And you all know out there that this is probably one of the safest places we have.
Oh, yeah.
And people have no idea where your men are, what they're doing,
right,
how they keep us safe. I do want to ask one more question before you leave, because I know there's a lot of questions asked to me and to Jeff about the relationship of AMR and us and you.
Right.
In case of an emergency, what is the procedure that should be followed?
Well, the resident, if it's emergency, the resident's in their unit. If you're in your unit, okay, you have a emergency in the unit, call 911 first. You need to call 911, okay? Then you call your front desk, okay? As a matter of fact, when you call 911, we automatically get that call.
That's what I thought.
AMR automatically gets that call. So there's no need for you to call your front desk. Just call 911. AMR has a scanner.
Oh, so they hear it.
Yes, they have a scanner, so they hear the call, and they'll be the first responder here before 911 gets here.
Okay.
All right, so they call 911. But the thing about it is, if you call, do not call AMR to your unit just to take care of a cut in your hand, stuff like that, because we have other emergencies. We have to keep them free for real emergencies.
So who do they call?
If you need like to check your blood pressure and stuff like that, just walk down to the lobby. Then you call AMR. They'll come over to your lobby. Now the problem is going up the elevators, and go all the way up top. And then if a real emergency arises, it's too much time.
So you want them in the lobby.
Right. So the residents has to be in the lobby to check your blood pressure and stuff like that. So if there's a real emergency, they could right away leave and come right back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the procedure is call 911. AMR gets the call. We'll come over and we'll take care of you.
And then they're within minutes because they're on the island.
In minutes, yes.
And then eventually when you do that, the ambulance will show up anyhow.
They will show up, yes.
Yeah.
They will. When the ambulance show up, we transfer care to them.
But AMR is accepted by Miami-Dade, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. At first, they were having a hard time.
Yeah.
Because Miami-Dade thought that they were taking over and not do their job for them, but they realized that AMR is assisting.
Yeah.
And as soon as they arrive, we turn it over to them so they take over. Yes.
Okay. Now we understand. Anyway, Noel, thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Thank you for everything.
I appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Well, now you understand a little about what goes on with security on the island, and it is truly amazing. We have 120 some odd employees for security that keep us safe literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But there's a lot of enjoyment on the island. There's a lot of things that go on the island. There's a lot of items to do. There's a lot of events that we have here, social, tennis, spa, food and beverage, et cetera, et cetera. And one of I like to say he's a character because he's a little unique. And when we watch the U.S. Open, we watch all these amazing events in tennis. You realize and you learn, you get a great deal of respect for the dedication that these players have. And not only the players, but also these coaches that go behind them and watch them. And it was interesting because I listened to one of the commentators talk about probably the most dangerous job to have is a coach of a tennis player. Because if they have a losing streak, they lose a game, they're gone. And there's no insurance, there's no guarantee. But we have someone who's been with us a long time. We do have a guarantee because he promised he'd stay here for quite a while. The only problem he has is he likes wine a little bit. And he does travel to his native country to drink a little bit, or he travels around here. Carlos, the head of our tennis operations, you've been here quite a while.
15 years both.
And you took over. I remember when you took over, it was tough because they didn't want you at the time, not because of your talent, not because of your ability, but because who you were replacing.
Correct.
And they said, how could we make a change at that time? And I remember the upheavals that were going on.
Yeah.
We were getting lists of names, and we were getting everything you could imagine. Why'd you do it? Why'd you get rid of it? I think it was Roy at the time. Was that Roy?
No, it was the son of Roy.
Roy's son. That's Roy Emerson's son.
Yeah.
And they loved him.
They loved him.
But you beat the odds.
He was here for 18 years, as well as the other pro. He was here for 8 years. I come over, I find some discrepancies with the tennis operations, and they're all of a sudden they're gone, and the members have taken a liking for them. 18 years of dealing with somebody here, you take a liking, you love them. At some points, right? You don't want anybody to go anywhere. But unfortunately, things happen, and I had to take action, and I had the support of the general manager at the time, and I had the board behind me, and I don't make decisions. I don't go around making decisions just like that about somebody else's life or future for the fun of it. I also like to consult with the board. I consult with HR. I consult with Jeff. So we make decisions unanimously.
Where does Carlos begin?
So Carlos was born in Colombia, in a small town called Ibagué. My father was a dentist. My mother was a stay-home mom. And my father was a tennis player at a club there, the only club that was in our town.
But not as a profession, just as a hobby.
Yeah, he played tennis and golf as a hobby. And fortunately, I took after his tennis, and he helped me out. He supported me throughout my whole tennis career, school, everything. And then I turned out to be what I am right now. I never thought I was going to, end up making a living out of teaching tennis or running a tennis club. Never thought.
So when you were in Colombia, you were a young boy, you started playing tennis. Mm-hmm. Did you work as a tennis assistant, a pro, or just played socially?
Just played socially, competed in nationals and state events, and took lessons like everybody else here. And then I earned a scholarship for a college in Georgia, which I went to, got my degree in business. And
let me ask you on that. Coming from Colombia, how did you get from Colombia to the U.S. to go to Georgia? Was there work?
I was recruited. I was recruited on a scholarship. I was recruited as a tennis player.
Gotcha.
To play for a school on a scholarship. So I played for a school, for a college.
So how did they hear about you? You're in South America. You're in Colombia.
Right.
How does Georgia know that Carlos is available and he's at?
So my friend was playing for that team in Tifton, Georgia. And so he talked to the coach about me and told him that he knew a player in Colombia that was a good prospect for the team. So he contacted me, and we did all the paperwork, and I ended up going to play tennis for school, for college.
And how'd you do?
I played number 1 and 2 the whole time.
Really?
Luckily. It was tough. It wasn't easy because I had to play every day and go to school at the same time.
But you did it.
So that's what happened. And then when I graduated, I left. I went to Miami. I took a lot of odd jobs. For 3 years, I didn't touch a racket. And then finally, I started playing tennis again. And
so you graduate college 1 and 2 in your division or your league, whatever, at the college.
Yeah.
Yet you didn't go into the profession after that.
No.
Why?
I didn't know what to do with my degree. I'll tell you the truth. I left college. I had no clue what to do with my life. So somebody said, well, just take some jobs here and there and find out what you want to do, and then just focus on that. So that's what I did.
And you never played tennis for 3 years?
No, my first profession was in the restaurant industry. I started from a busboy to a waiter to manage a restaurant in Colombia. After I got married and all that, my in-laws were owners of the restaurants, and I helped them out. And then one day I somebody invited me to play tennis, and they said, you could play tennis. You could make a living teaching tennis. And I go, I didn't know that. So I started teaching tennis. My first job was teaching tennis at the Holiday Park in Fort Lauderdale.
I know, bro.
And then...
Now, wasn't that where Chris Everett's father ran it?
Yep. Jimmy Everett.
Jimmy Everett, right.
Park, yeah.
Yeah, because she used to play there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Her an assistant.
Correct. So became friends with her father. Taught tennis there for a little bit.
So what years were that? Was it?
We're talking 80s. 85, 86, 87. Then I moved to West Palm Beach with my uncle. I got a job at the Breakers Hotel. I worked for about 7 years. Then I left, went to PGA National, taught tennis over there for about a year. Then I ended up working at Boca West as the assistant director for the tennis director. And then I just took off from there.
But while you were teaching, did you keep up with your game itself?
Yeah, I used to compete all the time.
That's
State, nationals.
You did?
Yeah. Anything that was that had association with the USPTA, which is the United States Professional Tennis Association.
Mm-hmm.
I taught. I played tennis for that. And did very well. I enjoyed playing tennis. I enjoyed competing, playing, practicing. I still enjoy playing tennis a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of good.
Sometimes.
You get over that a little bit.
Okay, so that's my tennis history as far as how I landed in my career in tennis.
So how'd you wind up in Williams Island? Who brought you?
I was working in Westchester County, New York, as a head professional at a club, at a project club there, the New Rochelle Tennis Club.
That's funny. And that's where I grew up.
Really?
New Rochelle.
So I see an ad on the USPTA website saying that Williams Island was looking for a tennis director. I sent my resume, and I don't know if you remember Chris Barbosa. Used to be, of course, HR director. She called me and interviewed me on the phone, and then somebody else called me from here and gave me another interview on the phone, and they wanted me to come here and meet in person. I did. My interview was about for an hour and a half, and I think I met with, I think it was Rod White at the time, Marshall Furman, and then the manager at the time, which is Curtis Allison. There's 3 people in the interview, and I brought a bunch of material, like events that I have run in the past, articles that I have written, things that I have done as a tennis director in previous clubs.
Right.
And they looked at it and they said, well, nobody's brought this before, no material. They just come, they show us a resume, and then that's it. So they went through my materials. I left the interview, and then next day they called me and offered me the job. And that's how I ended up here.
So when you got here and you had these issues, because obviously it had nothing to do with you personally, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have to deal with to overcome all that? Because, I mean, tennis is very cliquish. I see it even today.
Yeah.
This group doesn't play with that group. This one won't let this one play with it. This one, it
happens at every club.
Every club.
So I'm used to it. When I got here, it was just like that. I thought it was a challenge coming here because there was no events, very few events during the year. I think they run about 7 or 8 events during the whole year. There's no junior program. There was no adult clinics.
Right.
Nothing. So I created all of that from scratch. I started working on that little. I started with 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids. I started creating tennis events. People would laugh at me and say, you're not going to get that many people. There's no kids over here. People are not going to pay that much for an event. I gave it a shot, and, I made my events fun, and people know, the members that play tennis here, they know that my events are fun. They know they're well organized. I have a great staff that helps me, and that's the secret of that. That's the success of that.
So little by little, you won everyone over.
Yeah. Even the people that didn't like me before, now they're like best friends with me.
Okay, so we have 16 courts here, 15 in a pickle.
15 courts in 4 pickleball.
One of the largest tennis complexes around
in this area.
This whole area.
Yeah.
What's your biggest challenge here?
One of the biggest challenge, I would say, people want more. We have tennis, and they want a pickleball. We got pickleball. Now they want padel. Okay, and that's one of the challenges. How do you tell people it's not that we don't want padel, it's we don't have the land. We don't have the room to build more tennis courts, more pickleball courts, more padel courts. We don't have the padel courts, and so the industry grows, the racket sports grow. Pickleball, padel, tennis. We don't have the land, so
yeah,
it's a challenge. What do you tell these members that they want more?
What does Carlos do for fun?
I
remember they asked Palmer once, "What are you ready to retire?" He said, "What am I going to do if I retire? I'm going to play golf."
Exactly. So I still love to play tennis. I like to travel, and that's pretty much it.
And you do like wine?
I am a wine enthusiast.
That's what I thought.
Don't confuse that with wine connoisseur because I don't know anything about wine. Just what you just don't know what you like. I like to drink it. That's it.
Now, Steve Pedlago, who used to be here, knew a lot about wine.
Oh, he knew a lot about wine.
He did.
Yeah.
He loved wine.
Yeah, we had some dinners with him where we brought wine. He talked about wine. He knew a lot about wine, history of wine, the wineries. So he taught me a lot.
So what's in the future for Carlos?
In the future, I want to keep working as much as I can. I want to give it my 100%, day in and day out, 7:30 in the morning. I check the courts. I stay here all day. Occasionally, I leave the club for lunch. Well, like the lunch here.
Yeah.
Come back and continue to work. Now I have the junior program. I have that responsibility. I'm in charge of that since we don't have a junior director, but yeah, nothing I couldn't do.
But the programs you have, I mean, you come here at 6 o'clock and the music is playing and the people are playing and it's crazy.
Those are programs that we created.
Yeah. And they love it.
The live ball.
Yeah.
We created that. It was a hit. People love it. We have it 3 times a week. People enjoy that.
And I don't even think a lot of people even know they have it here.
No. A lot of people know that.
Do they?
It's just in season, it slows down. Off season, it slows down. And then in season, it picks up to the point where we have 3 courts going. Yeah. So still enjoy doing that. I love what I do. Believe me, Bob.
But you got to love what you do because you literally are here every day. I mean, this is your life.
Yeah. There's things that I really love about my job. There's things that I'm crazy about, but they come with it.
And what are that?
Well, when you have issues with members that complaints and stuff like that, I don't like being stressed out. I don't like having to argue with people. So just try to deal with it. Dealing with it is not easy. It's difficult sometimes.
So how do you, if you decide, okay, one day you wake up and say, it's time to slow down a little bit, what would you do? How does someone who plays tennis all their life, you can't stop?
No, I would still play tennis. I would slow down working maybe. We teach a little tennis here and there. But I don't think I'm going to stop playing tennis at all.
No, I don't know how you could. I mean, it becomes part of your life.
When I go on vacations, the first thing I pack is my rackets. I put
Yeah. So wherever you go, you want to make sure there's a tennis court.
Wherever I go, yeah. Like right now, I'm going away, and the first thing is going to go on my bike is my rackets. My friends know that I'm coming, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you enjoy working here then?
Oh, I love it.
And you have a great team.
We have a great team. We have a great staff. Thank God I have a great front desk staff, the team of pros.
Yeah.
They help me out with my events because it takes 2 to tango. It takes more than a person to plan an event. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be so successful.
And what do we have coming up? So without being too specific, I know you have a lot of events coming up. We have J.I. Reek coming in or something. And
that's the event that we're doing in October for the Irish private event. We know that. In November, we have the ladies season opener. We have a tennis pro for men and women. And we have a pickleball mixer. In December, we have the... what do we have in December? We have the kids tournament. We have a inter-club match against Fisher Island. Right now, I'm starting to talk to all the clubs that want to play against us. We're planning a trip to go to the Breakers Hotel for a 1-day event where I'm taking the members. Unfortunately, not everybody is going to be able to go because they don't have all the courts. And so we're going to do
So how do you decide who does go?
I go by who has played in my club championship.
Gotcha.
Who has played in my men's and doubles women's league. And I take the best player from all the way to the second player, third, fourth, in that order.
Okay.
So I pick and choose who goes according to that. You can't go at somebody else, but one of the requirements is that you have to have participated in those events, club championships and leagues.
Gotcha.
Now, the one thing I have that's coming up next year is I've done it for the ladies for a lot of years. We have an in-house ladies league. This year, we're going to introduce, not this year, next year or this season, we're going to introduce a men's in-house doubles league.
Interesting.
Yeah. For those men that want to play doubles and they need a league. They talk to me about ladders and all that, but doubles ladders at clubs don't work. Singles ladders are very tough. They requires a lot of babysitting. Now they're doing doubles and singles ladders online because there's no time to, it's a lot of time consuming. So the easiest way to do it is online, but I can do a league with the women, just like I can do a men's league with the men. So that's what we have coming. That's going to be very exciting. And pickleball keeps growing, of course.
Oh my God, yes, it's amazing. But I hear this pickleball has a lot of accidents in it. Nationwide. I can't say.
Really injuries.
Yes.
Injuries. Of course, you're playing pickleball on a hard surface. People are going to have bad knees, bad hips.
I'm
They're
hearing.
going to pull some muscles here and there, just like in tennis, but because it's a different surface, your body's going to suffer a little bit more.
Well, again, thank you for everything you do. We go back a long time together.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm an old timer around here sometimes.
Bob, I'm lucky to have you in my team, in my corner. And Jeff always been always in my corner also, so I can be more thankful and more grateful.
So do you love Jeff too? We want to know because Noel said he loves Jeff.
I don't love him. I like him.
Okay. So he's only getting a little like with you.
No, yeah, liking is good. Liking is good.
Well, thanks so much for everything, and don't leave.
No,
We need you here.
all right.
We need you,
Thank you, Bob.
and thank you. So you've met with Noel, you met with callers, and over the weeks you've met with quite a few of the staff. And we saved, I can't say the best for last, but one of the most important for last. And the reason I say that is because this is the woman, this is the person, this is the employee, this is the chief of everything. That is the reason we have all these people working here. She's the hirer. She finds them. She meets them. She interviews them. Every single department, when we need somebody, goes to HR, and her function is to hire the people for the departments to make sure we have the right fit. We are fortunate that we have Debra Laveau with us because Debra came from a hotel background. She worked for the Indians, and you're going to hear a little about her background. We're also going to hear a little about where she came from, but her job is amazing in the sense that we have close to 300 employees, and probably every single person, or most of them in your tenure, have been hired by you. So I welcome you today, Debra. Most people don't even know who you are because you're the woman behind the scenes.
Correct. Thank you for the warm welcome and for inviting me today. I've been with Williams Island a little over 11 years. It's funny that I ended up here because I wasn't interviewing here. I was actually called to come here. I was interviewing at Turnberry in 2010. And Jeanette Giddings knew someone that I knew from the Seminole. And I said, why don't you look into Debra Laveau and see if she'd be interested in interviewing. I came and met with the team, met with the directors. I was interviewed by the directors, then the executive committee, of course. And then I made the top two. And then I was chosen as the candidate to run your HR operation.
Well, I want to hear a little about Debra first. Where do you come from? Where did you start? How did you even dream about getting into human resources?
Oh, that's
Go-
complicated.
Where were you born?
I was born in Warwick, Rhode Island, and went through high school there and everything. And my parents wanted me to be a nurse. So they said, you always have job security. You go to school. When you graduate high school, you're going to go to college. You're going to be a nurse. Okay, right? So I get into the nursing program in college. I do 2 years, and then I do my internship as a candy striper. Do you know what a candy striper is?
Sure.
So I had
They'd walk around handing out the books and the candy and the newspapers.
You sit and you sit with the patients. You do odds and ends, but not really. You follow a nurse around, right? And sometimes they let you go on your own and visit a patient, but it's watching and visiting and seeing. And after 3 months of doing that, I went home and said, it's not for me. And then my father said, we failed. What are you going to do with your life? I said, don't worry, I'll transfer the credits into another program. Let me do some research. So then I came home and I said, I'm going to be an attorney. So I transferred my courses into the law program. I finished school. I sat for the LSAT.
Yeah, where did you go to college?
University of Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I sat for the LSAT at Brown University. It was like the longest 4 hours of my life.
Oh, sure.
Oh, my God. When I finished that, I interviewed at the law schools. And when I went on the interview, they said, there's several years you cannot work. Well, I was a worker and a contributor to pay for the college. And they said, we don't want you to work for one of the years that you're in the program. I want you to focus on study. I'm like, I have to work, I have to contribute, I have to help out, so not for me. I go back to college, and I said, what am I going to do now? So I transferred those law program and all those courses into the human resource management program, which was new and had just come out. And I said, how many courses and credits can I transfer into human resource and then make my way that way? So I got back into college, and I finished in the human resource management with a minor in employment labor law. And that's how that happened.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So you have quite a varied background there.
Very back.
So you went from candy striping to law to human resources.
Yeah, with no regrets.
With no regret.
It was a long road traveled. It took me a while to get there. But I look at me today and I can apply a lot of my skills and knowledge to what I do in the human resource management field. Yeah.
Today is a whole nother world of human resources, isn't it?
It is. It's not the same as it used to be. It's
Because I see, it's funny, before we started the interview, obviously there's things you can ask people, there's things you can't ask. But when you interview people, you have to be so careful now. And everything it's almost like you never really get to know who you're hiring.
No, you don't. They want to go off and tell you about their personal life, but I do everything I can to get it. I don't respond to that, and I get it back to the interview process. I want to talk about their qualifications, why they're here, why they applied, and what can they do for us as an employer. And that's what I focus.
So what is the reason that everything has become so private? I mean, you interview somebody, it's a one-on-one, doesn't go anywhere. And yet you can't ask age, you can't ask anything about family, children, whatever. It's almost like you really don't know the real person, other than some of the job qualifications.
Right. And the law says none of that matters. You have to hire the most qualified candidate for that position based on your job description. So it's not whether they have children, no children, husband, wife. It doesn't matter. Can they do the job? Can they do a great job for you as the employer? And that's all you need to find out. The personality, you have to take that out of it. There is also a piece to this where you want to have an organizational fit. So you have the team. So when I came in, they had me meet with all the directors. And they wanted to make sure my personality fit at the time with the group of directors that they had working here.
Now, there's a test that you give people.
Yes.
And explain that, because I find that very interesting. I took the test.
You did.
You asked me to take it.
And I know your background.
You do.
I do. So we have similar personalities based on that assessment. So what happened was, when I hire a director and above, I administer, they call it a predictive index assessment. And it's an assessment of your behavioral background, right? But it doesn't tell me anything, what I said we can't talk about. It tells me how you would respond in a given situation in a workplace. So it's interesting.
Well, I would imagine that's pretty critical, isn't it?
That's very critical. I mean, most organizations, every organization I worked in, I've implemented that, and everyone's been positive about it. They liked it, and it's a really good tool.
So when you got out of college and you had the degree in human resources, where'd you go? Where'd you start?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. There was an organization in Providence, Rhode Island. I went to their job fair. It was called G-Tech. It's a lottery-based organization. Have you heard of it?
No.
G-Tech. So they've since sold it. It's been a while. But that's where I started out as a human resource assistant to the vice president of human resources. And I came home and I had the offer letter, I'm going to say, it was for $15,500. And my father said, "You went to college all those years for that kind of money?" I said, "Dad, I got to start somewhere. And I want to learn from this gentleman, right?" And after 3 years of working for him, he called me in the office. And I did everything he asked, even some of his stuff. I asked to do it because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And he was a great teacher, great mentor. After 3 years, he said, "Deb, you need to leave." He says, "You want to be my assistant forever? You're too good for this. Get out. Go look for another job." And I couldn't believe he was saying it to me. He says, "Take as much time as you need." Mm-hmm. He says, "But you need to find another job." So, and then my next job, I went into human resource management and then kept going up from there.
And you came to us from Hard Rock.
Yeah, the Seminole tribe. And I heard you say I came from the Indians. Now, most people say that would be an insult, but it's not an insult to them.
No, to them, they want that.
No, they want to be called Indians.
So why'd you go from that to this? Not because this is easy, but that's an exciting place.
It's very exciting, and it was a major decision for me. Yeah. And I didn't want to do it. But you're in the biz, and the thing is, it's 24/7 operation. So I was on call 24/7. I was at that time, beepers, pages, wherever you want to write. Mm-hmm. A BlackBerry. I'm going back, right?
You are.
I've been here 11 plus years. But
most people don't even know what a BlackBerry is.
I know, right? I came. This is what happened. This was the scare of my life. There was 16 of us now. We're in Vegas. There was a strike with the American airline plane that we were supposed to get on to leave. And so when we got to the airport was packed. We couldn't get out of there. We're sitting on floors for 5 hours. And there's so many of us. So one of the gentlemen, his name was Mark, was a great friend of mine. He said, "Okay, we're going to split up. Everybody's going to try and find a way out of here and get on a plane." So everybody's running around terminals. We're texting each other. "Where are you? Did you get a flight? Are you out of here? Are you safe? Are you on a plane?" So when we finally got back, it took days. But when we finally got back, I should have taken the next day out of work. And I didn't. I went to work. And I went in the employee parking lot. There's an employee parking lot. And you had to take a shuttle bus from that parking lot, which is pretty far, into the hotel. I stepped on the gas instead of the brake in that parking lot when I should have stepped on the brake. And I landed on the hood of the car, which was the director of facilities across from me. Now, everybody saw it on film. I'm in the ditch. I got out of the car. There was a big ditch. I was shaking. Everybody came to the rescue, but my car's on top of this gentleman's car, and I'm crying, like, what am I going to do? I'm exhausted. I should have never been there. So it was like
That was it. It was a moment to say it's time.
this time. I need a regular 9 to 5 where I come home. I'm not in a hotel. I'm not in airports running around trying to get on a plane for a job. And that's what happened.
So what's the biggest challenges when you come to a place like this? I mean, here we have a lot of employees. You've been here a long time.
So the challenge here was, so I called my former leader there, and I said, I don't know if I can do this. And Deb, you need this break. You give it a year. Give it a year. Take a break. You've been running around. Take a break. She says, you're overqualified, yes, but you need this. So I stayed. I still stayed, right? But what happened was when I came here, I went into that office at the front gate. It was all boxes to the ceiling. There was like no office. They had moved it from here to there.
Right. She used to be up here.
Right? And then when I arrived, there's your office. I said, are you kidding me? In this dungeon? No way. I love it now, though, just so you know.
Right.
But we got it all together and organized. The most difficult thing for me here was the momentum is slower. Even though I felt I needed that, I thought maybe too slow. But eventually I got in the groove and I'm comfortable.
Very
And I get in my car in the morning. I drive here, I drive home. No plane, no hotel.
And you have a normal life.
Normal life. And most of the jobs I went on, the people that were looking at me, or corporations, and that were interested in me, were the travel. So before I accepted this position, I flew to California for an interview. The headquarters is in California, but the position was going to be here on Cypress Creek, running their operation here. And that flight also told me, no.
It's enough.
No, I got in the airport again in Texas, and I'm running to the terminal to get on the monorail to catch the next plane, and I have like a half hour. I said, this is impossible. And they said, no, I'm not doing this. No.
So you came here. So when you're running your department, as you do, and you meet with all these people, obviously you're the mother hen.
Mm-hmm.
They all come to you with their issues, their problems. I don't know if a lot of people realize that when pandemic came,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really just at that time, a few of us running the island because we shut down. We had nothing to do, really, did that. But you had to keep the business going.
Right.
But as things came out of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
you took on a tremendous amount of responsibilities. You weren't just an HR. You took over operations and many other departments. How'd you like that?
I loved it. Thanks to you and under your tutelage, I got to do what I do, right? And it was great. It was wonderful, almost 4 years, 1.5 years. I mean, I took on great projects. The first thing I took on for our pet parents was Doggy Hill. The most beautiful view on the island. And we had some great parties up there, and we put on the pergola for the pet parents to be out of the elements. And then I moved my way from Doggy Hill all the way down to food and beverage and the deli and delivery and the mercantile. Do you remember the supermarket?
I do.
For 5 months and amped up delivery, and this place was rocking.
Yeah. And it was done with very few people.
Very few people.
God, I remember that.
It was a lot of work, but I enjoyed it.
Well, you stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, during the pandemic, and we had all those issues, I mean, the team we have is amazing. They just stepped up and they just ran this place through the worst times ever.
Everyone pulled together, and we wanted to keep the residents safe. We wanted to keep them here. When we saw that the state was starting to open up, I said, no, let's keep mercantile going for another several months. Let's keep them in their house. And then they were getting chicken, hamburger, and it was something they could cook in their own home and not have to cook. Yeah, eggs, milk, the grab and go, and then the deli, of course.
And now look at it.
The pop-up deli.
Pop-up deli at that time, right?
Yeah, I remember the inspector came and said, what do you want to do? No. And then he said, wait a minute, you can do it in a pandemic. And when they get the vaccine, you got to tear it down. Still there and even better.
So where does Debra see herself in 5 years?
5 years, still going. Still going. Maybe in 10 years looking at retirement, but yeah.
But you're a baby. You got a lot of years yet.
A lot of years.
You know, I'm not allowed to talk about age, but
No.
you got a lot of years to go. You got a lot of years to go. Now, when Noel was here, he told us how much he loved Jeff.
Did he?
Yeah.
What?
Now, when Carlos came on, he only liked Jeff.
He likes him?
He likes him. Not love him, but he likes him. Deborah?
What I think about Jeff. Now, this is interesting. It's a good question. He's an interesting...
And by the way, when we would talk about Jeff, it's Jeff Clyde who runs the island.
Yes, Jeff. And Jeff's here. Interesting. And when I first met him, personality on steroids, right? He's very zealous, very fun, right? He brings fun to the table. And he wants to move the needle, which is important.
So that works well with you.
Yes.
Because you both come from a hotel background. So you want to make things happen.
Yeah, you want to make things happen, and then you want to see it stick. That's the key. You don't like when the inspector said, "Hey, you're gonna have to tear that deli down." It broke my heart, right? But it's still there, even better.
Yeah.
Now Jeff put in gelato.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Well, that's because he likes it.
does he?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have to put him in the gym a little bit more now.
Oh no,
Yeah.
goodness.
But it was very interesting because bringing, and not because this is about Jeff, but bringing somebody in to replace Steve when we did, and we had to bring in a new manager, running CFO, CEO. Our team is unique.
Mm-hmm. Very.
In the sense that they're almost self-sufficient. And they know their jobs. They know what to do. They know how to handle it. And most people, when they come in, feel they may want to bring a few of their own people in. They may want to bring in people that they've worked with. But what's interesting is, since Jeff is here, almost no changes were made to the team, if any.
No, and Jeff and I.
Few additions, but really other than that.
No. Jeff and I talk through that because he understands that losing historical knowledge in an organization could destroy a team. So if you have key players who are effective at doing their job, and he recognized that when he came in and he did his evaluation, that maybe it's better off to keep it in place and work with what I have because they're already doing the job.
But you're juggling different relationships. I mean,
Yeah.
on one hand, you all work together. The other hand, you don't work together.
No. And I have to handle my counterparts, my other directors, differently than I do the rank and file, right? I'm one of them now, equal to them. Before I managed them.
Right.
Now I'm with them, right? So it's a different role for me, but I'm there as their support.
Right. And that's what you're being, and that's what the role of HR should be. Right?
Yeah. Always to support them, get them to be the best that they can be, actually, right? So they can get their work done.
So you've had an exciting career here.
I did.
Look what you've grown through.
I did, and I never would have thought I would. No.
Well, you're exceptionally talented, and you have the ability to see more than just the HR issue. You look at the big picture as where you look at it through management eyes, and that's a big difference.
Right, because inside me, I want to do, and thank you for that, but inside of me, I want to do more, so I do a lot to help the other directors succeed, right? And I see things in them where they can do more, but I push them.
Yeah.
Like a CJ, I push them.
I know. Good luck. I will talk about it later.
I push hard.
Well, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think you're starting to understand a little bit more of what goes on this island. And with someone like Debra running the HR and handling all this, that's why we stay out of trouble. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think you had an insight into an exciting group of people that work here and make your life wonderful. There is so much going on that you've heard about from Jeff. You met with Noel, you met with Debra, and you met with Carlos. Please come to the board meeting or attend it or watch it. You're going to get a lot of insight into what is going on. And again, thank you for listening to us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.